Hello and welcome back to another Friday Sales Tip with me, Jason Duncan, and results through integrity. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I want to invite you to go over to it. If you're watching this on LinkedIn or Instagram TV, I want you to go over there and click on the subscribe button and make sure you hit the bell icon so you get notified of all the new content that comes out. I publish a couple of videos a week, and my content, I've got hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel that's all about entrepreneurialism and especially focused on sales. So if you're a professional salesperson, and I assume that you are because you're watching this video, then there's great content out there all for free that you can log into and watch at your leisure anytime. So thank you for subscribing. Well, anyway, let's get to our sales tip for this Friday. And my tip is this, and it's two words: slow down. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, this tip is referring to the concept of actually physically slowing down in the sales process so that you do not rush through it and cause confusion. The answer to confusion is always a no. As a matter of fact, I did a video on that a while back. The answer to confusion is always a no. And people get confused when they're rushed through things. And you want to make sure as a professional salesperson that you're not rushing anyone and thereby causing confusion, which will ultimately end up in a no. Because as a salesperson, you want yes. You want them to say yes. How much money do you want? Where do I send the check? How do I give you money? Take my money. You want them to say yes. So we want to avoid confusion, and one way to avoid confusion is by slowing down. Let me give you an example of what I mean by the fact that salespeople typically are rushing through processes. And this isn't just salespeople. This could be anyone. I want you to think back to the last time, or remember this concept the next time you meet someone brand new. Maybe it's at a church service, maybe it's at a bar, maybe it's at the park, maybe it's a new colleague at work. And when they introduce themselves to you, I want you to listen to how fast they say their name. Most people are so familiar with their name, well, all of us are actually, that we say it very quickly when we introduce ourselves to others. And if your name is John Smith, that's a name that's pretty easy to say, pretty easy to remember. It's very, it's two syllables, John Smith, and you can say that pretty quickly and most people are going to understand it. But not everybody has a very simple name. My name is Jason Duncan. It's 4 syllables. And if I say it very quickly, because I'm familiar with my name, Jason Duncan, then people who have never heard my name may not know what I said. There are times when I've said my name so fast in introductions that they either thought I was Jackson, or they thought I was Mason, or they thought my last name was something other than Duncan. Now, if you pay attention to this and remember the last time you met someone you'd never met before, they probably said their name too quickly. And if you want people to remember your name, or at least hear your name correctly, you need to slow down. So when you introduce yourself, stick your hand out and say, "Hi, my name is," and then make sure you say your name slowly enough that they understand all the syllables. Now, you don't want to do it so slow you sound like you're on some drugs or something. You want to make sure that you sound professional, but you can say it like this: "Hello, I'm Jason Duncan." Notice how I slowed that down, and there was actually a pause between my first and last name. So make sure you slow down. But that's just one small tip, and that's not even the biggest part of why I wanted to give this Friday sales tip about slowing down today. Here's the one I want to give you. Now, if you could think about a sports elite athlete, maybe it's Michael Jordan in the NBA or Wayne Gretzky in the NHL. You could think about how they will tell you, and if you read the interviews, they'll tell you that after their rookie year, the game began to slow down for them. And what they meant was that they were able to perceive, project, and understand what was about to happen as it was happening. So for them, the game slowed down. And it wasn't a physical or actual slowdown because the other players on the court or the ice were moving just as fast as they ever were, but because they were mentally prepared and had trained so well that even as things were moving at the speed of light around them, they were able to mentally perceive and project what was about, and even predict what was about to happen. The game slowed down for them. And as it slowed down, they were able to perform at a higher level. They were able to move to the ball or move to the puck before it got where it was going. Now, in the game of sales, you can slow down the actual process. You can slow down everything. Michael Jordan can't slow down the basketball game just so he can predict what's going to happen. So mentally, he has to prepare for that. But as a salesperson, you can actually physically slow the process down. So here's the thing. When you're meeting with your customer or you're meeting with your prospects, you need to make sure that you do not rush, that you slow down, that you ask a question and you wait. Let there be an unanswered question or a long pause between sentences. Let that happen. Let that pause, let that slowness, let that awkward silence sink in, because it will help you. It will also help the prospect, because if you go too fast, they can get confused, and the answer to confusion is always a no. You need to make sure that you slow down in your process. And that doesn't mean make your process longer. That doesn't mean take longer than you need to. It just means to slow down. For some of you, that may just mean the way that you talk. Slow down your talking. Slow down your questions. Don't go through your slide deck so quickly that they miss it. You have to remember that you are extremely familiar with what's going on in your sales process. You could probably do it in your sleep. Therefore, you go through it really quickly because you understand everything you're saying. You have to remember that the person you're pitching this to has never heard it before, and it's likely that they don't understand it the first time through. So my Friday sales tip for you this week is to slow down. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week. And remember, Jesus is King.